Hey, today we've got amazing news about the Killzone 2 armors as well as the Alpha Commando armor. Besides that, we'll talk about Arrowhead's odd file update name. Not only that, we'll go over armor customization, talk about weapon customization news, the developers update their known issue list, and there's so much more I'll be going over. If you would like to support the channel, then consider tapping the like button below, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that way you don't miss out on the daily news. Starting off, we have news about the Alpha Commando armor and the Killzone 2 set that was supposed to be released last month, completely free, yet there were issues surrounding it and most of the player base was unable to receive the rewards. Now we've got news about this. The Arrowhead community manager Mitchimus sent out an announcement and wrote this: "We have begun deployment of the Helldivers 2 X Killzone Page 2 items again to players who missed out. Bear with us as this may take some time. We are still investigating how to address the TR-117 armor issue." Yep, with that being said, expect to see the Killzone 2 page items pop up very soon. Unfortunately, the Alpha Commando armor is not going to be available right away. They're still trying to figure that issue out in itself. Maybe that'll happen soon enough. I'm sure it will, considering they already got to the Killzone 2 items. So eventually that will be on the menu soon. We'll be able to use it and all that. Next up, we've recently completed the latest major order by successfully liberating and holding down Tarsh, Yelaver, and Mastia. By doing so, we've fully constructed the Center for Citizen Surveillance and Security. There's no icon above the plants like we've seen in the past when we built the Democracy Space Station. Nevertheless, the ending to the new message briefing is a bit hilarious. If you're nowhere near your computer or console, then allow me to read it to you and we'll talk about it afterwards. Right here it says, "The Center for Citizen Surveillance and Security has been completed. The Freedom Act is fully implemented, marking the auspicious beginning of a new era of safety and unity. Already thousands of loyalty challenge individuals have been identified and apprehended by the new Unity Corps. Information campaigns are enabling citizens, young and old, to inoculate their minds from indoctrination through daily patriotism reinforcement exercises. Inspiringly, Super Earth citizens are taking the fight into their own hands, forming neighborhood watch and constitution study groups. Millions of citizens have opted in to install surveillance in their homes, ensuring that if they fall victim to Illuminate mind influence, their neighbors will be protected. The threat of Illuminate attacks remains as great as before, but thanks to the Helldivers, our citizens feel safer than ever. They are safer than ever." As I've said a few moments ago, the ending to this message is funny, at least in my opinion. It's a bit of a play on authoritarianism. Anyway, this might be a hint that we're about to get royally screwed by the Illuminate in the near future, or possibly High Command is reassuring themselves that citizens are safe. Also, it seems that quite a few citizens have set up cameras, but that doesn't seem like freedom to me, considering it's called the Freedom Act, yet there's no freedom involved when you're under surveillance 24/7, which might be why they said they are safer than ever. But hey, they opted in to do it, yet at the same time, it doesn't appear that everyone was on the same page. So why am I saying that? Well, they mentioned that thousands of loyalty challenge individuals have been apprehended by the new Unity Corps. So clearly there are a few citizens who were ratted on by other citizens for not setting up their cameras. All in all, it sort of makes sense to have cameras set up so that if your fellow neighbor ends up being mind controlled by the Illuminate, you'll be fully aware of what's happening, right? In some way, that actually is sort of a safe way to approach it. Anyway, how do you feel about the latest briefing message? Does the Freedom Act make sense or not? Let's talk about it. Continuing along, the Arrowhead developers are up to something because they've updated the files on SteamDB for Helldivers 2. We have a new branch that was added this morning. As you can see in this clip right here, it's called Disco Garage. Yeah, that's odd, but it also makes a lot of sense. In the past, the developers made a mistake by adding a new branch called Illuminate, which gave us a hint at the time that the Illuminate are indeed arriving. Obviously, that has already happened, but after the developers found out that we were aware of the branches, they began to name them all sorts of weird names like Mixed Bag, Granola Bar, and even named a branch called Pineapple Soup is Delicious. Now we have a branch called Disco Garage. Yeah, I have no clue what that could be. My best guess is that Arrowhead could be working on a new Illuminate enemy types, or it might be something else. Personally, I'm looking forward to a brand new armor customization system. We know in the past, Pilla talked about how they're working on color customizations for armor. Hopefully that's what Disco Garage is. Speaking of developers, the Arrowhead team updated the known issue list to include a new bug that's been going on ever since the Killzone 2 crossover. I've talked about it before in a previous video. there's a problem with the armor, specifically the AC2 obedient armor. Currently, the armor will force some of the helmets to float. Essentially, you'll have a floating head, as you can tell in this clip. Nonetheless, the developers know about the issue, and the support team wrote this on the Arrowhead Zendesk site and said, "Neck does not connect to most helmets for the AC2 obedient armor." With that said, you guys are picking up the brand new Killzone 2 armor set today, so expect that glitch to be patched in the near future. I know it's going on, but it will be resolved eventually. We already know about the previous known issue list here. I've talked about them on the channel in a prior video, I believe 2 weeks ago. For example, in the past, we talked about the issues with the AT placement, ragdolling when using the jetpack, as well as the most noticeable bug where aiming down your sights can be jittery and hard to aim correctly. Overall, I suspect these bugs will be patched in an upcoming hotfix, probably next Tuesday. I'll be sure to update you all on what's going on once the patch drops, so Tuesday morning, keep an eye out for that video. On a different note, we're going to backtrack a little bit here. I brought up how the developers are working on an armor color customization menu, but it seems that's not the only customization feature they're working on. We have more news about the weapon customization from a known leaker named Ironsights. Yet before we get into that, I'd like to bring up a post that is well worth mentioning, and it's something we've gone over together in the past previously. We talked about this right here, where a developer named Safez wrote to another player, basically stating that they had a weapon customization in the game previously, but it wasn't developed at the time. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is that it seems that they're now working on it, considering Ironsights revealed new footage of what it looks like when the customizations are applied to a weapon. We can see at the bottom right, the stats now have a green color to it, basically telling you the weapon has an increased capacity size. Also, Ironsights mentioned that it looks like the weapon customization is being worked on, however it's still buggy at the moment, and he's trying to essentially stitch it back together. He brought up that he added a drum mag to the weapon here and pointed out the stats as well. Not only this, he included another image of what the menu looks like, but you can obviously tell it doesn't look right at all. That's mainly due to the fact it's incomplete as of right now. Apparently, it will also feature a way to change the weapon skins. Now, this can change over time. We don't know if it's 100% confirmed. Overall, Ironsights is not confirming that it's going to happen. Like, none of this is going to, actually be fully developed, but claims that it looks promising. And I have to agree. We know the developer Safez confirmed that they had a weapon customization menu. Unfortunately, it was incomplete. But there are signs now that the Arrowhead team are working on it. Once I see more news about this, I'll be sure to update you all on exactly what's going on. With that to the side, let's talk about a post that was created on Reddit, where a player posted this image of an estimated revenue for Helldivers 2. So apparently the Arrowhead developers, including Sony and Steam, made around $1,288,000,000. You might be wondering why I included Steam. Well, they get a 30% cut of revenue, as well as Sony gets a 30% cut as well. This means if the estimated revenue is somewhat correct, then that means the developers got around $631 million from the game. Obviously, this is not the exact number. However, it's amazing to know the developers earned a good chunk of change from developing Helldivers 2. Last but not least, what I'd like to bring up is another contract information from the previous video. I know a lot of you enjoyed that video, so I just want to go over a little bit more here. We have information about the Super Destroyer, so if you haven't read the contract, it's quite interesting. At the very top, it talks about the Super Destroyer and how we're responsible for purchasing, maintenance, and all this stuff. So right here it says, the enlisted will be responsible for the purchasing, maintenance, replacement, and improvement of the equipment used for the provision of services. If the contract of the enlisted is terminated due to the conditions outlined in Clause 5.1, absent of pulse, the equipment purchased, maintenance, replaced, and improved by the enlisted shall stay with the destroyer, and shall be made available to the next Helldiver to command the vessel. Now, with that being said, think about General Brash and his Super Destroyer. It has to be fully decked out with all the best equipment. Speaking of that, did you know General Brash has his own personal stash that is actually, like, really, really good? For example, you can see this post right here. This was created back then, back when there was the whole shield generator pack issue, with the glitch. Anyway, if you have been gone from the game for quite some time until the recent Illuminate update, well, this right here is what it says. Helldivers were accidentally granted the SH-32 shield generator packs from General Brash's personal stash. These are reserved for 10-star generals only. All in all, it appears the 10-star generals have the best equipment out there, including General Brash, and his Super Destroyer has to be fully decked out. But overall, the whole entire statement is just crazy to think that if something bad happens to you, Whether you're wounded really bad or whatnot, you basically are screwed. You will not get any of your money back that you used to purchase the Super Destroyer upgrades and whatnot. I mean, in the Helldivers 2 universe, it just seems crazy, and I love this part of the contract. It kind of made me laugh a little bit. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. We're now going to talk about the top 3 comments. If you guys would like to be featured, all you have to do is comment down below. The first top comment is from Clown Twinkie 4752. I think it would be funny in the beginning of the movie to have a squad of Helldivers be casted by celebrities with their helmets off to only be crushed by helipods of our actual main Helldivers. I like that idea a lot, and it's similar to another movie I've seen in the past. I'm pretty sure there's probably a few movies out there that have done it, but yeah, I would actually appreciate that if, you know, they did something like that. The second top comment is by Admiral Gree 3873. We don't need a booster for flipping the FRV, just like the team reload. We need to be able to flip it by just having 2 or more Helldivers pushing against it, or 2 Helldivers with the kick emote should trigger a flip. This is not a bad idea, but at the same time, I do have a small little problem with it. It's just like the bunkers, you know, you ping a certain thing and you're like, hey man, come over here and help. Well, there's probably going to be situations like that, and if there's a way to solo dolo it, I'm all for it. Last but not least, we have the third top comment from Fixer48. Jack Black, I am John Helldiver. Kevin Hart, I am Hulk. The Rock, I am Bile Titan. Yeah, man. I had so many just different wrong answers from you guys, and I appreciate a lot. You guys made me laugh. Overall, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed everything I've talked about in general. If you have so, give this video a like. I hope you guys have any more suggestions about, you know, who should star in what, you know, comment down below. If you're wondering about the suggestions, I'm still going over them. Don't worry, it'll be posted in the next video. With that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.